Hello guys, and welcome to a slightly different video for the channel. This is going to be basically just like a showcase of my habitat that I am creating for DeLadysigner's tiger contest that she is running from the Discord. So I thought I would showcase what I'm doing, just do like a video to be released at the end of the contest when it's all finished. Just to show what I've done basically. So for those of you who don't know, that there's certain constraints. So starting with a basic flat map, welfare being up to 80% for the animals. Obviously you're using tigers, so you can choose either subspecies. You have to have an education centre, a viewing area for the tigers that's not too close to them. You have to have staff facilities, a separate quarantine habitat and a rehab habitat, and I am also going to try and do like a name logo sort of thing. So I've only got basic stuff in right now. I started ages ago and then haven't really been back to it since, so I'm going to properly start having a go at it now. I've done some terrain stuff so far. I'm going for the Siberian tiger. As you might be able to tell, this doesn't look very Indian. So I'm going to try and do, my idea is to have a cable car system going to the top of this sort of mountain, and then down here have the rehab habitat, so that people are just in like a hide overlooking the habitat, and then have the education and all this sort of stuff down the bottom with the other habitat, the quarantine habitat and everything down here too. So that is my plan. I'm going to do it in stages, so do specific like buildings or that sort of thing, and probably change terrain as I go through. So I'll just do little clips every time I've added something in, and then I'll mesh it all together at the end and hopefully have a fairly decent entry. Okay guys, so the first stage is kind of complete. So I've done the 2 cable car stations. So as I said, I'm going to have the shuttle cable car thing going up to the top, to the kind of viewing point up the top. So I've got the cable car system set up on a shuttle, so it just goes back and forth with one car, which is kind of good because it hopefully will limit the amount of people up there at one time, which kind of helps towards the whole keeping it kind of minimal viewing. So that's quite a good feature for this. And then I've designed these cable car stations, which I'm quite happy with. So I did have a kind of reference picture for a kind of thing I wanted to do. The main bit really that I took from it was this kind of panelling on the side, although it was in metal. The whole thing was metal, the one that I saw, and I thought it looked kind of cool. So this is the actual cable car station for the lower one. So I've got a little bit of a flower bed around it, just to break things up a little bit, and then the actual queue path. So I've got like the main path here, queue coming off that way, looping round, and then this is the actual exit path joining down to the main path. A bit of planting around this side as well, and a little bit of rock stuff, but obviously I'm going to have to do loads of planting throughout the whole map and the rock work and stuff, so I've just done this little bit around here. So this is the basic sort of entrance to the station. I'm going to detail and decorate stuff a bit later. I just put that there as a placeholder, really. So this is the actual station. So it's kind of basic inside. I've lined the bottom with wood just because I thought it looked a bit nicer than the whole track sort of thing that they've got as a standard thing. And then I've kind of lined it's all Arctic wood, and then the top is glass panels all the way around there, with the wooden panelling on the outside, and then just the kind of asphalt roof with a gap for the actual cable car to come into. And then this side is, I thought I wanted to kind of enclose it because obviously the weather's going to be pretty bad a lot of the time, so it's hard to properly enclose it, impossible really to completely enclose the whole thing, but I thought I would kind of just leave a cable car size gap there, and just enough for the track at the top. So this is where the actual cable car will come in. I've fenced off all this kind of area from the public, and then I've just kind of put a few little details on this side. So I've put a kind of guttering on there, some lights, and a little ladder in case people need to get up and down to this part here. So just a little access point there. If I change it to night, because I've done a little bit of lighting but not loads. So on this side, just a few random lights on the outside. I'm probably going to put a sign or something here, and then just a few little lights around here. And then this bit I thought it'd be kind of cool to just sort of outline as a kind of, almost as a warning, like a danger zone, but also just, I don't know, I thought it looked kind of cool to have that, the sort of red lighting on the outline of the cable car bit. So yeah, that is what I've done for that side. I thought I'll copy the whole thing up the top, and then I've just changed it slightly to suit the kind of terrain and stuff that I've got up there. So yeah, it's almost the same. This is the bit that's changed. Obviously the entrance and exit is slightly different for up the top, but all the rest of it is pretty much the same. Same use of the chain link and stuff with the limestone bits, and then just a simple little flower bed bit on the outside. So yeah, that is it for the cable car buildings. Right, so I've been pretty busy, as you can probably tell. There's quite a lot has changed. We already had the cable cars and bits, so I've done a little toilet block over here, which fairly simple. Just there's two toilets within it, one on each side, and then just a little bit on the front to kind of hide it a little bit, just to blend it in a bit, and then just a little staff room there, so that there is one at the top of this this area on the top of the mountain, for the staff that are up here. Again, blended in, just a little bit of planting and stuff. We've put some benches, and I've made this area here just a kind of open space for like picnic benches, for people to just rest, so that they don't have to just go up, come back straight back down kind of thing, and some normal benches as well. We've got a little wind turbine, that's all sort of fenced off. Since it's at the top of a mountain, I thought might as well have a wind turbine, because it's probably going to be a bit windy up there, so that can generate some power there. Then this is the main building, so this is the hide, I've called it. It's mostly there. I've still got to do some detailing. I'm going to do some planting and stuff. I need to sort out the actual entranceway, because at the minute it's literally just a gap. But in general, the actual main sort of structure and layout is kind of done. So from this side, it's just loads of little windows, as you would see in normal kind of wildlife hides and things. And then if we hop inside, it's a bit bigger. When I made it, I thought it was going to be alright, but it's a little bit bigger than I expected it to be. But I thought it doesn't really matter, because it can then just hold more people, and I'll put some more like education-y bits along this back wall, and then this whole side can obviously be the main area for people to view the animals, so they can just look out of these little holes. So this is where I plan the enclosure to be, so it goes all the way around there, all the way down, and then on these ones you can see the lake. So there's a little lake down there, which the enclosure runs all the way around. So hopefully, obviously there'll only be like one tiger, maybe two, but it's basically just to give a little glance at them if they are in an area where they can be seen. All this will be planted and stuff anyway, so I'll try and move a few sight lines that allow people to potentially see out there. I don't know if guests in the game will actually be able to see anything from up here, but hopefully they will go up there and walk inside. I'm not too sure, we'll have to see when we've got the guests in. But yeah, some education and bits, some screens all around that I'll put the tiger stuff on. And then I just thought, I liked the idea of this roof that's kind of taller on one side and shorter on the other, and then I've put all the lighting on this side, so it kind of lights up the education side of things, but it keeps the viewing area a bit darker at night. So I'll zoom out, and then that kind of gives that the whole kind of view of it from above. I struggled with the roof a bit, obviously doing things at weird angles you get these strange bits, but I thought I could actually try and make them into a feature and make them into little solar panels. So I've done both of them, and I've made them into solar panels, used these wooden beams to sort of blend all these parts in together, so it's just these little bits, but I think it looks okay actually. I think it's turned out alright. So yeah, just some detailing. I'll probably change the lettering on there, but I wanted to put a kind of little sign on that. And these are supposed to be binoculars, but I'll see if I can find a better way of making them. And then that will hopefully kind of, apart from more planting and rocks and stuff, that might be the top of the mountain finished once that building's done and planting and rocks are done. So I've also come down here and done a little staff area, so this is going to be my actual entrance into the reserve, like the tiger reserve, the rehab enclosure. So it's just going to be a really long road all the way from down here where the entrance is, all secluded, and I'll probably put some staff pathing in so that it's people can't come down here as visitors. But this is my staff area, so I've just got a staff room and a keeper's hut in there, and then I've used the same structure for the toilet, so the same kind of layout and everything, just changed the insides and where the windows and things are a bit as well. So on the back there's some windows for the staff areas, but yeah, took away a lot of the decoration and stuff because it's obviously not needed. It would be a more basic building just for the staff to use. And then this is my little cold store area, my fridge or freezer or whatever it might be for the meat for the animals. I thought this is kind of based on the kind of thing that we would have at work, just a sort of big walk-in fridge or freezer or something. So got a little ramp up, and it's all just kind of, yeah, it's all a little block to itself, separate from everything else. And then we've just got a little, like a transformer there for the power for this little area. So yeah, I think that was everything that I've done in this bit. So what I've started working on is redoing this area, the actual entrance, because I started it and I'd done a bit of roofing stuff, but I just didn't really like it, and I thought I would change up the style and try and finish this bit off and make it look nicer. So I'll probably have got 2 information points, and then I might have a staff room possibly down here, or I might just put the trade centre down here to have it sort of tucked out the way somewhere next to this and going off that way, something like that. But yeah, this will be the main entrance, and this is the title that I'm going for of the actual place, Primorsky Rehab Centre, which is named for somewhere, an area where the Amur tigers would live. So yeah, that is what I'm going to carry on working on next. So I'll hop back in when this lot's done. Right guys, so the entrance area is pretty much done. Again, I might do some like little extra touches and things, but in general it's pretty much finished. I wanted to do a kind of entrance because I thought it would just kind of tie the whole thing in together nicely, even though it's not a requirement for the actual contest itself. So I thought I'd do a fairly basic one, but just something to mark like the entrance to the actual place itself, and then I could properly like give it a name and all that. So I went with just doing like a little car parky area. I'm kind of thinking that this place isn't going to be like massively busy, it's just going to be fairly small, but still quite interesting. So like a little car park for some cars, some trees and bits just to blend it in. And then this is the actual entrance area, the actual entrance building. So I've got a little sign there. I might change up fonts and letters and things with some custom stuff at some point, but for now I don't think that looks too bad. It's just quite a simple sign, and I quite liked having this little one in the middle as well. So we've got entrance this way, so I've just got some information points on either side, and then the actual entrance points down here coming through. and then up here this will lead round to the trade centre I've put in there, and then on this side is just kind of nothing else in that bit of the building, and then this will come up here. Not in Tejicam, so it's not going to stay on the right level, but yeah. And then I thought I'll have a separate exit, so I've just kind of put a little bit of water down there, and then a little bridge going across, a last minute donation bin in case anyone else wants to donate. But yeah, just sort of screen that side off with some ivy and things, just adding some little touches to make it look a bit prettier and stuff. And yeah, that is kind of what I'm thinking for this building. Not too detailed, not too complicated, but just a little something that signifies you're actually entering some sort of area. And obviously, as I had before, I have kept the fencing, so like a boundary fence for the whole kind of centre, so that just kind of goes off there, and then I've just got the road kind of disappearing off the map, and my spawn point is down here, is this little in this little bush. I'm trying to use all taiga plants, Asia taiga plants, if I can, but there's not a huge selection, especially bushes. Like, there's nothing this kind of size bush-wise, so I've used the pine, the Scots pine a bit, and just sunken it into the ground. The Himalayan birch, I think it is. Sunk that one in as well a few times. That looks okay. It's like a kind of bushy plant, and a bit more of the ferns and things. So yeah, that is my entrance. And then I think next I'm going to try, this is going to be a big one, so I think this area I kind of plan to be the visitor centre, the education, all that sort of stuff. So I don't know whether to make one big building and have like this bit of staff, have an education stuff, have a bit of like just basic food and drink, like a tiny little cafe bit where people can sit and eat, and then my actual quarantine habitat is going to be in this area down here with the vet stuff. So yeah, potentially I might get rid of that bit and make all this just the education and stuff, and then have a separate building like maybe down here for the quarantine habitat. And I'm kind of planning both of these. I think is going to be like multi-story, like just 2 levels. I've got some images that I think are quite nice, so yeah, that is my plan. So I'll be back when they're done. Right guys, so the I've not quite finished the education centre and stuff yet, which you can see down here, but I thought while I was doing it I kind of wanted to play around with terrain, so I've done a lot more terrain stuff. So pretty much the whole map now, as far as I can remember, is sorted terrain wise. So I've kind of done a mixture of like flatter areas and then more sort of mountainous areas. I wanted a couple of other little lakey sort of parts in there, so that's the main one that's going to be in the actual tiger habitat for the main reserve part. And then I thought we'll put in another little lake down here, and then I thought I might as well add like a kind of little stream or river running down that way, so I have put that in. Obviously there's still loads to do on the map, so I'll have to do all the terrain painting and all the trees. That's going to be the hardest stuff really, the trees and the terrain painting, because it's just such a massive area. But I think it looks nicer having the whole thing done rather than just like this one little bit that I'm actually using. It kind of just blends it in a bit nicer. So if you're kind of down at this level, and you can kind of see it just blends in a bit better with the background as well, because instead of having like just completely flat, like some of it's flat which is fine, but yeah, having completely flat just kind of I think would look a bit weird. So yeah, we've got a little bit of actual terrain variation. So yeah, I'll carry on finishing that. There's hopefully not too much more to do, but just a lot of little bits to finish up in there, and I'm fairly happy with how it's turning out. So I'll finish that off, and then I'll show you that when it's finished. Okay guys, so I think the the education centre and stuff is pretty much finished. I've got some finishing touches to do still, so some lighting, maybe some signage and bits, some more planting and stuff around the outside and everything, but yeah, it's pretty much there. So it's going to be one big building. This side's a bit plain, which is a bit annoying, but I'm going to plant all this side up and stuff and make it a bit more interesting. But this is the front of it, so I've made it multi-story, and this is the main kind of hub for it. So coming in through here, so this is the sort of entrance area. So I've got some toilets over there, some stairs to go up the to the second floor, and then I thought I would make just a little water feature there because it seemed a little bit bare in here. So yeah, I thought I'll just put a little water feature. I'll play it. So the side down here. So come down here. This is just a little cafe area, just with a couple of shops in there and a little bit of seating and everything. Some trellis and stuff. Then I'll sort that out. But yeah, this is the actual education. So I wanted to do a kind of exhibition style thing. So I thought of like when they have those kind of screens up and you just kind of walk through. So I made these screens myself out of some of the cloth pieces or something like that, and some frames. So this is pretty much what I've used throughout the whole thing. So it's basically one big kind of circuit that you do. Starting this way, it's got this all the way through, and this takes you through the kind of education stuff. So in the first little section, we've got about poaching and things. So these are supposed to represent kind of education, signage and stuff. We've got a little bit on like these are supposed to be tusks, elephant stuff obviously, and then kind of wild bird trade and things, with some cages. Then come to the next one. So this is more about like medicine and things. So we've just got a few little bits in here to represent that kind of thing. So like a table, some pots and things. Down here is supposed to be like some teeth and bones and bits that tigers would be poached for. And then on here, a little tiger rug, which I don't think turned out too bad. It's a bit plastic looking, but yeah, I think that kind of gets across the idea. And this is I think the coolest bit. So this is the deforestation side. So this basically represents the whole sort of forest has been cut away or cut down, or some of it burnt down, whatever. So just general deforestation stuff in here. Then this is where there's still a lot of signage and things to put in as well, but this is a little cinema room. So it's quite simple because I think a lot of these places would be fairly simple stuff. So it's literally just a few benches and a screen at the end. So this might just show like a short little film on a circuit of just stuff to do with tiger conservation and that sort of thing. Maybe like what the centre does a bit with the rehabilitation and everything. And then if you don't want to go in there, you can go down the little side road. But yeah, if you go through there and you come out, this bit I haven't really done properly yet, but this is supposed to be about global warming, this little section. So this is the only bit that I haven't really fleshed out. And then you come out, and this is like the gift shop kind of area. So just some donuts and a couple of shops, gift shoppy things, and then just another like seating area here, all under this nice kind of big glass dome sort of thing, and then a little seating area there. So that is that floor. So then if we go up to the second floor, so just this little kind of corridor area with some planters and things, and then two different entrances or exits. So this is just basically a balcony. So This has got a just kind of natural roof on it with just a lot of small plants. I didn't want to put any trees or anything, I just thought I'll keep it simple but kind of wild looking. So that is a kind of wildflower sort of natural area, which is actually a roof for undercover seating. And then we've got just a basic kind of balcony area around pretty much the whole thing. It goes all the way around there and then it stops there, which is where the that natural area is. So we just go back down here. So this is the little undercover seating. So yeah, fairly basic. So if it was a little bit warmer, obviously in this kind of climate you're thinking it might be cold quite a lot, but if there was some slightly nicer weather, it's still undercover but it is more exposed, so this could be just a little outside cafe area. And then we have got a staff room and toilets and things in here as well, so that the staff don't complain too much. But yeah, so that is the main building. So there's a few little tweaks to do, but yeah, if we zoom out we can see the whole thing properly. So that is the building itself. I'm fairly happy with it. As I said, still some stuff to do. I think the lighting will make it nicer, and then just general like planting to kind of blend it in, and like soften some of these quite harsh sides, because I didn't really want loads of windows on the sides, because I wanted the exhibition area itself to feel kind of enclosed, even though the roof is like really exposed and really light. So yeah, I wanted to keep that to a minimum on the sides. So yeah, some planting will definitely do it some good, blend it in a bit. But yeah, that is the main education hub. So the next thing I'm going to work on probably is the staff area and the quarantine habitat, which we over here, and trying to blend it in with having a little bit of viewing, but also in the specifications having the vets being able to see everything quite well. So I don't know whether to join it to this building maybe, or just have it slightly offset, but yeah, that will be the next thing I work on, I think. Okay guys, so the next bit is kind of finished. So I've added a little bit of signage to the education centre and stuff. I have done a bit of work inside, so I wanted to try and change up a bit the way the pathing and stuff worked, so that it worked a bit better in here. So I've taken a bit out here so people don't walk through the little fountain thing. I put some signage in here for the different little elements there. So I've had a bit of a change around inside. So I found that when the food shops were here, people didn't really go down to the end and go in the actual education part. So I thought what I'd do is change it around. So this bit I made into a little gift shop. I've not really filled the shelves, but because I didn't really sort of want to waste a huge amount of time on that, because I am getting pretty close to the deadline now. So yeah, I didn't want to waste a huge amount of time, but I've just done a very basic like little gift shop with a few stands in it, a few like little things dotted about, and then a couple of actual shops in there. And then I've made the bit at the end all food stuff. So we've got the chief beef, the pip shop juice, and the Missy Good donut stuff, all in that little area. So then this seating bit can be for that, and that has made it a little bit better. So people are actually walking through the education and stuff. They don't seem to be going all the way round, which is a bit annoying, but they are at least going in there and stopping and looking at some of the education, which is good. So yeah, I'm a bit happier now. I've also made it, as you can see, they're kind of following the proper path, which is nice. So I took the whole of the floor up and redid the pathing so that it was all 2 metre pathing, and so that it kind of followed pretty much up to this point. It actually follows the white path that goes through, and then the rest of it is all just more gridded stuff again. But it at least means people kind of follow, which gives a sort of nicer impression there. In here we've got a little bit more signage here. So the Conservation Cinema is in there. so that will be where they show all the conservation-y stuff. I'll sort that out. So yeah, that will be the screening and stuff. So obviously all these bits around here are to do with certain issues that are faced by the tigers and other animals as well in the area and stuff, but I thought that could be some more specific tiger conservation stories and things, rehabilitation, that sort of thing. And then I have actually done the little global warming part, so I've just put a kind of iceberg thing and some fire, like forest fire stuff, and then just a little wave to represent sort of ocean and sea levels, that sort of thing. So yeah, the education centre is pretty much finished. I don't know if there'll be any more signage to put in, possibly a little bit, but yeah, I'm fairly happy now with, obviously it's a bit awkward with the traffic flow and things, with a lot of people going through it and a 2-metre path, but yeah, I like the way that they kind of actually walk around it rather than just go anywhere in there. So yeah, that is pretty much that finished. There might be a few little finishing touches, but yeah, in general that's kind of done. So if we then come around this way is where I've done the next lot. So obviously this was our existing staff area next to the cable car station, and this was the power and everything for it. So I've made this staff area behind. So this is our little staff area. So we've got little parking space, because obviously there we use vehicles to go down to the main rehabilitation enclosure. And we've got some power. I've copied the freezer or fridge freezer, whatever this is going to be, for the meat over to here from the one that's down near the rehab enclosure. And then this is our actual staff centre. So we've got in here the vets, we've got the keeper hut in there, and then in here we've got the staff room, a staff room in there, and then this actually leads through to this area. So this is kind of the observation area. So in the specs it's said to have it so that the quarantine habitat can be easily viewed by the vets and everything, and they can keep a close eye on them. So this is nice big one-way glass panels that the vet centre looks onto, and then obviously they can actually come out here as well if they wanted to and view the animals properly through here. We've also got round through this, I've put a little door there, so this is a research hut and a mechanics hut as well, and both of them look onto there as well. So like if they're doing research on the tigers or that sort of thing, anything to do with that, that's in the same place. So yeah, all of these things can be viewed by the staff quite easily. Then we've got, if we go around the side of the building, so I've used all my little things that I made, my keeper tools, because they were one of the things listed, which was quite nice to see, that were okay to use for the competition as a workshop item. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that, so I thought I might as well put them in. So this is kind of another access point. I've made that look like an access point there, a door there, and then this big yard area, and then these to be dens, although that was originally a quarantine habitat, so I might have to change that up a little bit. I forgot about that. And then this is the main entrance, so this is our quarantine habitat, so fairly basic. A few trees and things to make it a bit more natural and everything, but not too kind of busy, so it's still hopefully fairly easy for them to be observed and everything by the staff. So we've just got a few enrichment bits, a little pool, water over the back there, water trough, and a little outdoor shelter, and we've got one tiger in there, and they've got good welfare, so that is one of the criteria, so their welfare is fine. And yeah, so it's just a fairly basic little enclosure. I'll zoom out so you can get a better look.
So that is the whole kind of thing. So yeah, it's pretty much just under the 800 meters squared specs, but it's still in the green for the Tiger. So yeah, that is my staff area and quarantine habitat. So obviously I'll kind of blend it all in, so there's still loads of stuff to do in terms of the, not so much the terrain but more just planting now, I think. And I don't really know what to do rock work wise, because I'm doing the whole map, it might be a bit much, so I might do a bit of rock work on the actual the main part that kind of focuses on that like mountainy bit there, which we're actually using, and then for all the stuff in the background just leave it as rock terrain and plant it all up, and hopefully it will kind of look okay. But yeah, that is how it's looking so far. So I've still got a bit to do. Planting and rocks, I've got signage still in a few places. I need to do some lighting. I need to finish the entrance area a bit, and I need to actually sort out the rehab habitat as well, because I haven't really done anything to it. But obviously it's going to be quite natural, so a lot of it will just be incorporated into the planting and things for the map in general. And I was thinking about a waterfall up there, so I might try and put that in if I can. But yeah, so it's all coming together, but I've not got long to do it, so I'm going to press on and try and get as much done as I can, and hopefully I'll be happy with the end result. Right guys, so it's all finished finally. I haven't been able to record anything while I was actually finishing it because I was really close to the deadline and I needed to get it all done. That as you can see, everything is finally done, all the terrain, all the planting, everything. So we'll have a look around, probably just go through like the whole thing, and then just have a little look from up above as well at some certain areas, because it's quite densely planted, as you can see, so some of the bits are a bit more difficult to see. So yeah, we'll start down here. So most of the stuff you will have seen already is actually already been shown, but there's been certain little bits I've edited, so it shouldn't be too similar to what you've seen, especially with all the foliage and stuff will make a big difference. So as we had before, we've got our little entrance point down here, our spawn point down there in the bush, and then this is our car park entrance sort of area. If we go down here, so we've got exit on that side, and then this is the actual entrance. Ticket booths either side, and then this is the main walkway coming up here. So we've got a little staff access area down there. That's where the trade centre is, I think it was. So we'll continue up here. So yeah, put in signage and everything to direct people to everywhere. So we've got the education centre, cafe, gift shop and cable car. So if we carry on this way, this is where the cable car is. So I've made the signage and everything for that. So that is the Treetop Express now. Looks quite empty actually, which is good, because before there was a massive queue. We'll go up there after. We'll have a look down here first. So here is the actual education centre, cafe and gift shop. So we've got in here, got toilets over there, the fountain as you saw before. Down here, as I said, this is now the gift shop, and then this is the main area. So this is the exhibition space and cafe. So we've got all our little bits in here, our poaching, our medicine, we've got our deforestation area, and we've got the conservation cinema. So this is our little cinema area for the conservation stories, things like that, more to do with actual tiger conservation that's happened to do with the park, things they've rehabilitated, stories and things like that. And then down here we've got the global warming bit, and then we've got the little cafe. So I showed all this in the last bit, so we won't dwell too much on this lot, but The main thing I've changed is all the lighting in here and some of the signage stuff. So the sign for over there, the Conservation Cinema, has changed, and we've got these beams that run along the whole thing with the lighting on, just because it was a bit rushed at the end, and I did know I wanted to put lighting in it, because it just seemed like a space like this would definitely need lighting in. So I thought I'll add the lighting in. It's fairly basic and probably not the neatest, but it does the job, I think, so that's the main thing. If we go upstairs, I should really be on Tedgicam for this, because that would make my life easier, but I haven't done that. So upstairs we've got this little area here. So this is just kind of lobby area, just with some planters and things. And then we've got the outdoor spaces, so we've got the green roof there for the undercover seating area. And then we've got all this bit. So I've changed all the stuff down there quite a bit. So all this stuff though at the top has pretty much changed. I've screened that off so people can't see down to the staff area. And yeah, that goes all the way round. Obviously it looks much nicer now with all the planting and everything. It really sort of sets the buildings in an actual sort of scene, really. So this is the actual downstairs seating for the cafe bits. If people wanted to come out here, I've put some heaters on the walls, because obviously it might be a bit chilly down here, especially at certain times of the year. And then down here we've got our quarantine viewing. So I debated back and forth whether to put viewing for the quarantine habitat, because I thought, because it's a bit more enclosed, a smaller space, maybe I shouldn't, but I decided that I would put it in. So what I did was I moved the staff facilities that I had there, and I've made this little add-on here for those few little bits there. So this is now, I've made it all enclosed to try and obviously minimise noise and things, all the signs around saying keep quiet, and then this is now our quarantine viewing for guests. So yeah, you can see the tiger in there bounding around, which is nice. Just somewhere that you're kind of more guaranteed to actually see an animal, because I thought if you go up to the hide and then you can't see anything, it's going to be a bit disappointing maybe. So I thought if we have something there that is still going to be kind of sheltered for the tiger, but still visible for the guests, and that will be good. So yeah, this is the little staff area here, and then this leads then still onto this area, which is where the vets is, with the big viewing window to assess the tigers, access to the cage area, and then this part here is now a quarantine again. So I haven't done the interior, but it's a quarantine box facility. So in theory that is where there can be an indoor proper den for the animals. Still got my little tools down there, and that is still the access to the habitat. And then all these bits around here are pretty much the same. I might have planted a little bit more from what I last did, and then yeah, obviously all this is different. So that is that area. If we go down the path this way, still more planting. So what I did is I didn't do full planting. I pretty much just went for the straight visual for the planting, so the trees. I didn't really do any bushes or things like that, because it just would have been too much, and I did not have the time. It took ages, as you can imagine, to plant the whole map with all these trees. But I stuck to pretty much the same one. So we've got the Dahurian larch, Himalayan pine, the Scots pine, and the Himalayan birch were the four that I used pretty much. The main three were these, and then the Himalayan pine dotted around in certain areas. And then I did throw in a few deciduous trees, I think is that the word? Because they're not all these kind of fir trees and pine trees and things in that area. So there's a few patches where there's more of this sort of tree, but yeah, in general it's mostly the other ones. So yeah, this is the staff facility for the rehabilitation habitat, which is down there. So this is just, yeah, some power, staff areas, keep hut, staff room, that sort of thing, and then our cold storage and a little vehicle. And then I just made a kind of simple-ish entrance to the habitat. So got a big double door system so you can get vehicles in there. Obviously the actual gate wouldn't work for that, but that is the idea, that you can just take a big vehicle in here. And then this is the actual habitat for the tiger. So it's pretty big. I'll zoom out because you won't be able to see it. So this is the actual habitat. So it goes from the boundary, so yeah, it kind of goes from around this kind of area all the way down here, sort of wider, and then it sort of goes smaller here. Then I did actually in the end extend it up this way. Originally I had it down this kind of way at the bottom of this, but the guests couldn't even view, or the signage kept saying it was failing because it was too far away from the actual habitat, so I extended it up a bit onto the actual hill there. And we've got a little cave for the shelter over there, and we've still got our little lake for water and everything, and for the tigers to splash in. I planted this little bit up a bit more just because it was a kind of focal point for the actual habitat itself. So I did some rocks and some plants, some sort of more bushy plants and things around there, but in general still just the trees. And yeah, that habitat extends up just onto that portion of the hill there, and then you can see the hide up there on the edge of the mountain. So yeah, that just extends to over here, and that goes up over. Did I make it up over there? I can't even remember where I put the boundary now myself. Where is it? Oh yeah, it goes right around there. So I extended it all a bit. So yeah, this is the main reserve for the rehabilitation tigers. So if we carry on back down here, we've got, oh there we go, there's the queue again. So we've got the cable car. So yeah, Treetop Express, did the signage, so it's a little cable car with some of the letters in there and the tiger thing around the back. I'm not the best at like graphic design and stuff, but I thought that looked okay. The only annoying bit was the kind of contrast between the wood and that is not quite right, but it'll do. This is the actual cable car station, and then obviously we go up the mountain here. So it's nicer now that it's all actually planted up. It just looks much more realistic. So all the way up. I didn't do any rocks in the end because it just wasn't, I didn't really have the time to sit and do all the rocks and everything for this whole mountain, which is a shame, but I should have started earlier. And I didn't, so it's my own fault. But I still don't think it looks too bad with the rock texture, the rock terrain. The bad thing is that people come up here and then they leave straight away. They don't stay for anything, so that's quite annoying. But I didn't really want to mess around and start putting shops and things up here when I already had the kind of whole layout set, so I decided to just leave it because it wasn't necessary for the contest itself for people to stay up here, because I did check. So yeah, this is the upper portion, a little bit of water and things like that. I did want to put rocks around there, but obviously ran out of time. But there's no saying I can't update this still now. So yeah, we've got a little toilet block, the staff room over there, power station, and then this is the actual main entrance of the hide. I think it looks nice with all the trees and everything around it. And I did change the sign, so we've got a little binoculars there, and then the hide. So obviously based on the wildlife hides for people who go watching wildlife. Don't think anything in here much has changed. The main thing I changed here was this little portion here. So I wanted to put a bit where they could see, like, if they had like a live camera somewhere that they could put a feed through, and just recordings of things that they'd taken in the past of some of the animals. And then a binocular station, because obviously this is up high above the habitat as we saw earlier, so there's a binocular station on either end, and then this is the main kind of education board area instead now. So if we look through here, probably won't see a tiger, but this is the kind of views you'll get. So I tried to make, with the planting and everything, so there were clear patches that you could see from each portion. So this is kind of like the lake view portion here on this face of the building, and then over here is kind of a mixture. You can still see the lake, but you can also see that clearing over there, and potentially some of the bit on the hill there. Oh, there we go, there's a tiger. So yeah, this is the kind of view I wanted. I wanted it to not be like, you go up there, there's a tiger, done. I wanted it to be, you're up here, you might have to wait for a while before you actually see anything, but you are still potentially going to get a glimpse. And obviously if you have binoculars, you could get a pretty good view there, and it's almost as if it's like a wild tiger. That's what I wanted to go for. It's pretty much wild in there, and people are all kept away, but they still have a chance at seeing it. So yeah, I'm glad he walked past, because otherwise we wouldn't have seen anything, and it would have not really looked very good. But that was what I was going for. So yeah, all these three. That one, again, you're going to get a view of the hillside there, and I put some bedding around here to see if the tiger might come up as well. And then, yeah, kind of that, again, that clearing for that one, and then this one is pretty much the hillside and a bit of the clearing, and then also this portion down here is part of the habitat too, so you might potentially see one walking down there, but obviously that's quite far away. So yeah, slightly slimmer chances there. So yeah, just a few different viewpoints really. I kind of in the end realised that I made this a little bit too big probably, especially like depth wise, because it didn't really need to be this kind of wide all the way through here. Probably could have got away with almost half the size potentially if I rearranged things, but I've tried to make use of the space, put these kind of information boards in the middle, things like that, some more education, that kind of thing. So I still kept the solar panels. I might have changed them, but I just kept them because I didn't really know how else to blend them in nicely, or to redo them. I didn't really want to have to redo them all, so I thought that makes use of these crossing pieces which don't look very good. So yeah, there you go, down the lake view as well. So I think that was everything for the actual habitat and all that sort of thing. It's hard to even see everything now because it's all covered in trees, but yeah, we'll just have a quick sort of look over some of it. So I did some that were a bit more sparsely planted towards the edges to kind of blend it in to the surroundings, but it's hard really because I kind of wanted it to look more dense foresty like this, and this be in the middle, whereas all that is kind of sparse, so I've kind of had to leave it as its own little map really. I did end up putting a waterfall in. It's not the best, it doesn't really look that great, but I just kind of wanted a little trickly waterfall thing, so I put some rocks and I put a waterfall in there, just repeating the same piece over and over again. And I don't think it looks too bad. It's more just a scenery piece rather than, like, it's not even in a habitat, it's literally just scenery for the map itself, which runs onto the river down here. So yeah, all terrain painted kind of correctly. Then we've got the lake there, and again a couple more little mountainy bits, more raised over here and over there, a few little bits and bobs, but yeah, this is kind of the vibe. I tried to do certain patches where it was more the larch trees and things, so down here little patches, little patch there, and down this sort of portion, and then the rest more piney, kind of more open area here with the Scots pines and things, a bit more exposed. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out actually. I think like when you look from here it looks as one proper map, so I'm really happy with that. One thing I did think actually about it was that I didn't try it in the snow, so we'll do it quickly as a snow and then quickly at night, to see the difference there. So let's put it on snow. and see how it looks. I imagine it will look pretty cool in the snow. And obviously in this kind of map we would be expecting it to be kind of snowy. I haven't placed heaters in all like the visitor areas, so they'll probably look really snowy, except that undercover portion there of the seating area in the education. Taking its time. Right. Hopefully we don't see something here that sticks out really badly, but everyone's shivering. Put a coat on. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. I do love the snow in the game. I think it looks amazing, the way it falls, the way it settles on things, like just on the lamppost, the way it just settles on there. The way the trees kind of block the snow from settling on areas as well, it just looks really nice, I think. Really, really nice. Have a look in this little habitat here. Yeah, that looks nice as well. And let's just zoom out on the whole thing. Wow. Can barely see. Does look nice though. About up the top there. We'll have a quick look from the hide. We won't go around the whole map again. But yeah, we'll have a little look in here. See, that looks cool. Yeah, that looks nice. What if we stop it from actually snowing for a second? Can you make it actually stop snowing? I kind of want the temperature to stay the same. Just want to see it without the actual snow itself falling. Yeah, it looks lovely. I think. And it's gone. Yeah, I think it looks nice in the snow. And then at night, we'll just have a look at it at night. Because I did try and put the lighting in. I don't normally do much lighting, but I did try and put some in. So I just use the same kind of lampposts for a lot of the staff areas and visitor areas. Some lights above any shops and things like that. And then we've obviously got our ones for signage as well, and I did put one in to light up the front from below as well, because these weren't good enough on their own. In here, this is the other main lighting. I don't think I actually put any under here, so we've kind of got a bit of lighting from the heaters and things, but yeah, that could do with lighting in there. And then just some not excessive lighting, just a lot of these strip lights and things in here. Obviously certain things light up anyway in here, but yeah, just something to light all this lot up, because it would have been kind of dark, although it's nice with the glass roof because you get the moonlight in there, which is very sort of, I don't know, mysterious looking. And then yeah, we've just got the lights on that and the cable car thing. So yeah, I think that is everything for the habitat itself and the build itself. Obviously it is on the workshop, so I've made it public so that anyone can go on it, look around it, download it if you wanted to. Obviously it's all terraformed and painted and all that kind of thing, so in theory you could just use it and carry on making a zoo from here. You could expand the tiger thing, you could make a zoo, you could do whatever you liked with it. But yeah, it's all terraformed and planted and stuff, so you can kind of fit in and do exactly what you wanted. You could even just go and delete all the trees and start just with the terrain and stuff, whatever, if you would wish. But yeah, that is my entry. Obviously I don't know how it's done because I'm recording this before the results are out, but I'm happy with it as my first kind of proper build. That's everything is all my own actual ideas, creations, everything like that. I've used a few things for inspiration, but in general pretty much everything is yeah, it's all none of it's recreations. It's just certain bits of inspiration, and everything else is just my own ideas. So yeah, I'm happy with how it's turned out, and it was nice building something using my own creativity and my own ideas and stuff instead of just doing recreations. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my building. Yeah, if you want to check it out, have a look on Steam, download it, use it, play with it, whatever you wish. And yeah, I will hopefully maybe enter in future contests, depending what they are. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.